Well, my father-in-law gave my son a chainsaw when he was in his 80s, when my father-in-law was in his 80s and sold his rural home. He didn't need it anymore, and that was, I suppose, something like 10 years ago. And my son doesn't do much chainsawing, so I thought I would try it out. We know it ran a couple years ago at least when we did it. It's a Poulan 2150 2.1 cc. It's been leaking oil out of the oiler, so the bottom of the case is all oily. My wife got some new dish rags and in the house rags, so she passed along these old ones to me, which I think I'll clean the case oil out of the case bottom. And then I'll just put this one down there to soak on the bottom of it. Then set that out of the way. Poulan is owned by Husqvarna. This is a newer bar on it, and I think the chain is pretty new too. Well, you have to see my chainsaw. I'll set that up here. My chainsaw supply. Okay, I have an axe handle, or axe. This is an old Pop Shop heavy-duty plastic crate with a insert put in it for some tools, little room for gas, and I usually put a couple chains and things in it. We got a file, kind of oily looking, but it's kind of a homemade handy outfit. My dad had it. He may have had it for ice fishing for all I know. So let's start with checking the chain. It doesn't have a chain brake on it. It's a little dull. The file is a little used too, but I mostly want to see if I can get it going and if it'll saw something. Looks like the rakers have been filed down a little on it. It's a small file. Let's see. It says, I don't have my glasses. Oh, upside down. Something, I think it's 5/32. I have to get me a couple new ones because this one's not only oily, but it doesn't have much file to it. I'm a little bit too brutal here. Well, we really want to see if we can get it started, don't we? See if the chain, this wrench is the right one. Yep. Actually, the chain's about right. The adjuster. So let's see. The gas. There's a little bit of gas setting in there from whenever it was last used. It's probably not a good deal to have it, but We'll put a little bit in to see if it'll start. Now the oil, I need the wrench to do that. No, that actually has some in it too. So it's enough to, the cap lock is gone, but, or I mean holder, so it doesn't lose it. So, I don't have the instructions. This is the choke. This is the, okay, there, the blue one is the choke. This is stop on. The gas lever does have a lock. It has a primer. Should we try a 4? 1, 2, 3. I can't see that there's any gas coming in. Put on my mittens and try starting it. Alright, on, choke out. Yeah, put my mitten off. Oh, that sounds better. Okay, I put the choke in too quick. So, should we take it out in the woods and try it? I'm not going to put any more gas or oil in because I just want to do a little testing of it before I, what the heck. I might as well fill it up. And then I won't have an excuse to quit cutting early. I looked it up on the internet, and it's I think they were made in the 90s, 80s and 90s, maybe, or a little longer. This is bar oil, bar and chain oil. Yep, ran that over. But that'll get some down on the chain. The gas ratio is 40:1, it says. And it says unleaded gas on the cap. Unleaded gasoline and oil. It predated the ethanol in the gas. And so when Scott got it, my son, we just were using regular, we always use ethanol gas in everything, no matter what people say. And this is the one place where we actually had trouble. The gas line fell apart, so we bought a piece of gas line for a couple of dollars and then took it apart and threaded it in there. It was pretty simple, and that was the only problem so far anyway, using ethanol gas. I figure on my machines, if they don't handle ethanol, then I don't care, I won't use them. But everything, including my Super C over here, and everything else, mowers and all, use ethanol. So what do you think of my table here? This is all made out of red elm, sawed on our own sawmill, rough lumber, from trees cut here back, I don't know, 30 years ago when all the elms died from Dutch elm disease. Red elm is really a pretty good material and somewhat water resistant and very strong. It actually makes nice furniture too. The whole upstairs of this pole shed behind here is almost all the cross pieces are 2x4s of red elm. They're the cross or the trusses are pine, jack pine, I think, but the boards that are under the tin are mostly all red elm. They were something fierce to pound roof nails into them. They were out 8-foot gaps and they bounced and go through the tin and damage your fingers and thumbs. So I used the pliers to hold the nail. Nowadays we'd use screws, but that was made in 1986, I think. I dropped a couple of box elders out here using my steel 029, and that's a 13-pound chainsaw. And at my age in the 70s, I get sore shoulders if I cut very much. So I thought I'll try this one. It's a 10-pound one, not a whole lot lighter, but I'm just curious if it any good. I really should have had the chain sharpened, but we're going to try a few of these tops here. Box elder is quite easy to cut, so it should be okay. So okay, on, choke. Shouldn't have to prime it because I just had it running. Sounds good. that's pretty good actually. Can definitely tell it's lighter than the other one. I think if I sharpen the chain a little better, I would be pretty happy with how it works. The 2150, which I guess must be the 2.1 cc. See, my steel is a 3.3, but on these tops, this works fine. It's kind of a nice day today. It's mid-30s, January 13th. The snow is just perfect for packing a snowball. I wonder if I can't hit that end of that stump over there, that tree over there, with my snowball. Probably don't have any strength left in my throwing arms. Up. I threw my arm out already. Good enough. We have 40 acres here. 25 in fields, and then a little narrow swamp over there with a creek that comes down through, and then a pond and fields, and then over there with that woods is the fence line. It's a square 40. Well, I don't need to saw anymore there. Let's try it. Let's give it a real test, shall we? Let's take this chunk that's standing up here. That is, could be 20 inches maybe. This, there was 2 box elders here, and I cut them both down, and I filmed it. This one was leaning pretty bad, and I wanted to drop it a different way, so I wedged it over, and I was really quite proud of. Yeah, it's not, the bar isn't long enough to get through. It's probably a 16-inch bar, probably a 20-inch tree. That doesn't matter. Oops, on. Put a little choke on it. which probably means I sharpened it on one side before I broke the file. So I'm probably dull on one alternate teeth. It's also some kind of a micro chisel